Hi, I'm Nick Swift. I'm a character designer and storyboard artist here at Powerhouse Animation, and today I'm going to talk to you about using basic shapes to add a little more variety to your character designs.
So here we have two very basic male and female designs. They're not bad by any means, they're pretty cute, well-proportioned, and feature body types that you'd typically associate with the human main leads of a comic, animated film, TV series, etc. They work. One issue, though, is that they are fairly generic. There aren't any features that really stand out about them, or inform the viewer anything about their characters. So how could we change things up a bit to make them more unique? Let's start by looking at some basic shapes. We have a square, triangle, and circle. I'm sure you're aware that all drawings are structurally built upon these shapes, but these shapes also carry several ideas and generalizations with them. For example, a square looks and feels solid. It's sturdy, strong, unchanging, unmoving, steadfast and resilient, or depending on its size, imposing. On the other hand, there's the circle. It's round, movable, it's pliable, soft, welcoming, playful. And then we have a triangle. It's pointy, which implies danger, and for the viewer to be cautious around it. They're sharp and aggressive, and when turned in other ways, they're unbalanced, teetering one way or the other, and all it needs is just a little nudge to push them over the edge. And with all those ideas in mind, we can use these shapes to build characters that not only stand out from a crowd, but their appearances also can tell us about their nature and personality. Let's start with a square. In one way, we could use its implications of strength and sturdiness to design a large, powerful, and imposing character. A wall of muscle that won't budge or back down. Maybe also they aren't very open-minded and are very set in their ideals. They stubbornly adhere to their beliefs, and it'd take a lot of work to get them to change their minds on something. They're an unmovable figure that powers through the hardships that they face. Let's try it with the circle. What type of character does a circle shape make you think of? We could go with a friendly or happy fellow, or we could come up with a nurturing and caring character. The key is using soft and gentle curves throughout the design to communicate that warm and loving nature. Now let's try it with a triangle. You could have an unhinged character teetering on the edge of sanity that lives outside the standards of society at large. Maybe a quick thief that's only looking out for their own well-being, that'd sell you out in a heartbeat so that they themselves could elude capture. A sketchy character that you'd want to steer clear of if you ever saw them in a crowded bazaar. These are just a few examples of what you can do when using these shapes as the basis for your character designs. Now there's no need to just stick to one type of shape for each character. Here are a few examples that I've done where I played around with mixing the different shape combinations to get even more varied designs. Notice how the use of these shapes helps say something about each character. With this kid, I used a rounded square for his head, and the triangular body gives the implication that he's a mischievous rascal that's quick on his feet. And the rounded square shape for his head could show that he has a good head on his shoulders. For this woman, I used a circular head and a larger rounded rectangle for her body. The rectangular body makes her a sturdy and strong figure, but the soft rounded edges show that she's also very kind and nurturing. I used a combination of all three shapes in this character. His rounded body makes him look friendly and approachable, and yet his rectangular head shape shows that he's a stern and stubborn man. His forward-leaning stance also helps illustrate that he has an aggressive nature. With this character, the soft sloping curves and big round hair imply that she's a gentle and caring old woman. The triangles that make up her overall design, however, they show that maybe there might be something a little more sinister about her. With this businessman sort of character, I used a very large upper body shape to help communicate that he's an imposing authority figure. The rectangular shapes used in his face and legs show that he's a stern man that stands his ground and won't back down, and with his long Pinocchio nose, perhaps showing that he might be a very deceitful person. One final point I'd like to briefly touch on. Using different shapes to vary your characters not only makes them more appealing and reflect their personalities better, it actually helps create a cast of characters that are immediately recognizable from one another. Let's look back at the generic characters I showed in the beginning. If you were to take several characters that use similar proportions and shapes and look at them as silhouettes, you can barely tell them apart from one another. They look too similar. However, if we were to take the characters that I've used in this lesson and look at them in silhouette, you can tell, even at a glance, which character is which. When there is a more clear visual difference in the characters' shapes, you'll have a more varied and balanced cast. I hope these little tidbits have been helpful. There are many more points to consider when designing a character that could be touched on in future videos, but being mindful of the shapes that you use in your character designs should do a whole lot of good in creating a visually diverse cast.
I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you for watching, and for more pro tips, visit powerhouseanimation.com.